The Indie Writers Club is brought to you by Publish Drive. With one click, self-publish your ebooks, audiobooks and print books to thousands of stores and libraries worldwide. And now you can start for free forever. Publish Drive's new free plan lets you publish your first ebook to 35 stores worldwide absolutely free. No subscription fees, no commissions. Keep 100% of the royalties. Get your titles online in just a few minutes at publishdrive.com.
It's the Indie Writers Club with Cara, Claire and James Blatch. A place to relax, chat, learn and vent about life as an independent author. Get episode alerts and links at indiewritersclub.com. Now, here's Cara and James.
Hey, it's Friday. Welcome along to the Indie Writers Club with me, James Blatch.
And me, Cara Claire. That was a bit of ad-libbing there. Hey, it's Friday.
I know. So I threw that in to keep you on your guard. I have a confession to make. I did mess up the links initially last week.
I did hear a rumour, yes.
Yeah.
I heard a rumour.
So I called it the Indie Authors Club, which is probably somebody else's club that we're not invited to.
Yeah.
I haven't checked.
Like step 101 in marketing your podcast is...
Yeah, make sure you're pointing at the right...
Remember the name.
Yeah. But... probably doing too much at the moment, and a story of my life. So I did correct it. They all corrected. Indie Writers Club. And I suspect most people thought, I think authors is wrong and changed it. But sorry about that.
You're forgiven, but don't do it again. I
won't do it again. The one thing that's very, very irritating, though, is that when we set up the invite for the Discord discussion server, which goes along with this podcast, you tick a box that says, do not expire this link. And yet... Cara Claire, it always expires.
Does it?
Always expires. And I get an email after about 3 weeks from people saying, this link is dead. So you have to go back into Discord, generate a new link, tick the same box saying, do not expire this link, set up the redirect, which is indiewritersclub.com/Discord. And it's very irritating. And I'm irritated by it. I want the world to know.
I can tell that you're irritated.
Did I mention it's irritating?
You did. There might be a way. I feel like you and I aren't Discord experts, and somebody's going to write in and be like, "You just need to do this." Maybe we need to pay for the server channel thingy.
I'm not paying anybody. Yeah, I am. I don't mind. I don't mind if there's a little payment to do. I'm all in favour of paying for good services.
If anyone knows what James is doing wrong, can you let us know?
Not generally in life. Don't think I'm feeling a bit vulnerable at the moment to get a lot of criticism, but
specifically in relation to the Discord, all other areas of his life are off topic at the moment. I said a
very tearful goodbye to my daughter this morning at the airport, and she was upset because I don't know. It's the first time she was amazing. She took herself off aged 18 to Canada by herself, and I was full of admiration for her because I could not imagine me at 18 doing anything like that. And she was fine, and she sort of arrived in Canada by herself and found her way in Calgary to where she needed to be, and had the most fabulous ski season, learning to be a ski instructor. Went back last year, had a brilliant blast. And this year, I think for the first year, it feels a little bit routine, and it hit her a bit hard leaving the family today. So it was quite a moment at Heathrow. But anyway, and now she's sitting in Wetherspoons Heathrow because the flight's delayed, and she just wants to get there now.
You know what? It's been one of those days today. I was stuck in traffic it took me an hour to do half a mile on the school run today.
Wow.
Because there was an accident.
Literally quicker walking.
It would have been quicker walking, abandoning the car. To start with, it was quite fun. We were like, we'll just have a dance party in the car on the way to the school. And then when I realised we were going to be there for more than 15 minutes...
The same Bob the Builder music or whatever it is you danced to.
My enthusiasm dulled a little bit. It's NaNoWriMo. It is
NaNoWriMo.
Novel Writing Month.
And I'm actually doing it.
Are you? Do you want to talk about this now, or do you want to talk about it at the end?
Do you want to talk about this? That sounded quite threatening. Should we talk about this now? Or should we save it for the formal reprimand? I think it's more like,
do you need to take a seat on my couch?
What? Where's this going?
Like a therapist.
Oh, I see.
Right. What were you thinking?
Your boudoir. Come to my boudoir and take a seat on my couch.
That was not the
vibe. Look, I'm so target driven. I said this before, I'm so shallow. So I'm doing NaNoWriMo.
Yeah.
And I've probably had my best month start for a long time. So yeah, I've done 3,548 words since the 1st of November.
Whoa, that's like 5 days ago.
Doesn't include today, because I haven't written today yet, but I will write today.
That's what this is about, though, isn't it? Like,
yes.
you clearly are somebody who needs that pressure.
Yes. And also, who knew that if you start writing all the things you think you're blocked about, but if the focus becomes, I posted this in the Discord server, if you're not trying to get a word count, you're just trying to write your book, the focus is on the book and where it should be going, what the characters should be doing, the rest of it. And that's debilitating sometimes, because is it going the right way? The characters overthinking, all the rest, which I'm classic at. But if the focus switches to word count for the month of November, you just write the words. You know you've got to write the words, and guess what? All that other stuff sorts itself out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, suddenly you're in it.
I've been telling you, just write the book, James. I believe is what I've been saying.
Well, you should have mentioned it.
Maybe not quite that succinctly. Well, I'm off to a slow start. I've only done about 7,000 words, but you know me, I'll catch up.
I do know you. You will. We're planning an episode. We're going to trail it now. I think on the 19th of December, which will be the episode that goes out between Christmas and New Year, we're going to go to the pub and get drunk and record it. We're going to do the first drunk author podcast. I don't know if there's been one yet. I don't think Joe Penn would have done one.
I don't think there has been one. I don't
think Brian Cohen would have got drunk on air.
No, it's going to be the first one, and then it's going to become a regular thing. I think we should do it like every once a quarter. Yeah, we should just get drunk at the pub and record the podcast there.
I think Johnny, Sean, and Dave may have been drunk on air at some point. They feel like you probably don't remember Johnny, Sean, and Dave, do you?
Vaguely.
They were the podcast I listened to first of all, Sterling and Stone, and
not in a pub though.
The self-publishing podcast in a bar. I wouldn't go into a bar because they're in Texas. Actually, they're not close to each other or anything. And yes, I don't know. They probably didn't. So we are going to get drunk, and I'm going to get my thing out, my sex scene. I'm going to get my sex scene out, and you're going to read it. I need to have a few pints before I'm going to let somebody.
So glad you clarified.
Read my my amazing sex scene.
Well, what I want, we need to discuss this, because I don't know if I'm going to read it beforehand and write some notes, or if you're just going to.
No, you're going to read it.
Make me have a drink and then read it there.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Do I have to read something? I should read something of yours.
You should read something of mine. Yeah. I'll pick.
So then we can compare, and then people can say, "I actually think James has had more authenticity about it," or whatever they want to say. They can say whatever they want.
Mine is not authentic.
So okay,
magic.
So it's going to be an explicit drunk podcast. You have been warned. We're recording on the 19th of December. We'll release it. I tell you what, it could be a bonus one. We could release it when we like. We could release it Christmas Day.
Yes.
Why don't we release it Christmas
we should
Day?
Do that. That would be so much fun. And I think every time someone says a swear word in the sex scene, we should do a shot of something like tequila.
Yes. I don't swear during my sex.
You don't swear during the sex scene?
No.
Okay.
No. So, it's very serious business. This is an RF pilot. Everything's planned. He's following a checklist.
Is he?
Yeah. Eject. Or is eject? Something now.
Oh my God. See, if it's like this now and we haven't had a drink.
Yeah. What is it going to be like? I do love being puerile. I mean, the world's serious enough, isn't it? And the great thing about being a man is you never really grow up. You pretend you do. You pretend to be an adult in places, but you don't really grow up.
I hate to break it to you, but we see through that. Like no one is under the illusion that men actually grow up.
I thought the charade was I shouldn't have.
Sorry.
Damn it. Oh well, I might as well just be immature the whole time. Okay, look, we are going to talk about, well, good luck if you're doing Nano. We'll read out people who are taking part in Nano at the end of the episode and have posted in the Word Count Club. But good luck to doing Nano. It's such a good thing to do. I mean, it's such base lesson, isn't it? Just get the words down. Just get the words down, because all the other things, it's not like, when I say just get the words down, and you say, it doesn't matter what you write, just start writing. I don't really mean that. What I mean is you think they'll just be random words, but they're not when you start writing and you get into the zone. And everyone listening to this more than me knows this. So I'm not preaching. I'm preaching to the converted, but I need to know it better. Even though I know it, I need to know it better. You need to know
it better. And it's that thing of, you look back at it after you've written it, expecting it to be shit and to have to make those edits. And then you go, oh,
that's quite good.
Actually, when I wasn't in my own head, like over at this is not bad. It's actually quite good.
Yeah.
And I love that feeling when you read it back and sometimes if you get into that flow state, sometimes you don't even recognise some of the stuff that you've written when you read it back. You're like, oh, actually, I'm quite impressed myself there. That was quite good.
And that it's more fun writing a book like this is the same as reading it, but more fun, isn't it? Yeah. Because it's the same experience as reading a book. Yeah. You're telling yourself the story. Yeah. Okay. Right. So we're going to do that. We'll read out those names at the end of the episode. And we are going to talk about conferences because it is, we're recording this on Wednesday, the 6th of November. So it's going out in a couple of days' time on Friday. Friday night, I shall be down in a lovely hotel next to Heathrow Airport. Not so lovely. And getting on a flight to Las Vegas via Dallas-Fort Worth on Saturday. And that is because direct? No, I don't go direct for very nerdy reasons. I don't go direct. Do you want to know the nerdy reason?
Yeah, I do.
Because I collect airline status.
It's a points thing.
And air miles. If you flew direct London to Vegas, first of all, that's like the Vomit Comet, that plane that leaves London and goes to Vegas and back again. It's full of very hungover people. And I suppose not on the way there. On the way there because they start in Wetherspoons in the morning. So first of all, avoid that flight. Secondly, you get 140 tier points in business class for that. But if you go via Dallas, you get 140 plus the 40 points for Dallas. And that's another 80 points. I mean, I'm going via Phoenix, I think, on the way back.
I'm regretting asking.
Very nerdy. But if you get your airline status and if you've got a Facebook ads account, Amazon ads account, you're paying for ads every month and you put them through in your British Airways American Express card or another points collecting card, you get a lot of air miles. And if combined with the status from the airline, like gold or silver, silver is probably what I'm going to end up with, or is what I'm going to end up with. You have a lot of availability. So Jill and I went to the States to stay with Lucy in the summer, and that was all air miles, business class and first class on the way back, actually. And that's all air miles. So we just pay the taxes, and we are probably going to go to the Far East next year, Singapore, again, business class, and that will be all on, that would be the companion voucher, which halves the amount of air miles you need. So it's such an obvious hack. And if I speak to authors who are spending, like well-earning authors, who are spending 5,000 plus a month on Facebook ads, but even if it's 500, this is worth it.
Yeah.
And they're not doing it on a points card. It's just like leaving money on the table. So Absolutely. It's another episode, I think, those sort of hacks for authors that you might not think about. Yeah. Perhaps we'll get Cecilia Mecca on. She's really good. She's a brilliant company to join our first person to join us. But she's a very good travel hacker for authors. So
yeah, I think anything like business tips for, when you get a little bit further down the line and you're starting to think, okay, I'm making some money now, but how do I make the best of this?
Yeah.
Those little hacks are, worth their weight in gold. I know a lot of authors who do the points travel air miles thing.
Got to do the points. So anyway, I shall be doing the points, flying to Vegas via Dallas.
And you are flying to Vegas for?
I'm flying to Vegas for Author Nation, which you'll find at authournation.live is their web address. So Author Nation we think probably is, I'm sure, the biggest gathering of indie authors in the world. It's probably the biggest gathering of authors because the traditional publishing industry does not really gather authors together. I can't think of it doesn't, unless it's an award
ceremony or something.
Award ceremonies, yes, I suppose, maybe, but I can't think of like the Booker Prize. When I see that on TV, it doesn't look like a big event. It looks like it's almost a press conference. Maybe the Pulitzer in London does, I don't know, in Washington rather, or wherever it is. But they do reader events, don't they? So there's lots of reader festivals. The Hay Festival in the UK, there's probably lots of them in the States, literary festivals. So they're focused on readers, but authors, I think if I'm going to be slightly conspiratorial here, I suspect the traditional industry doesn't like authors talking to each other.
No, I would agree. I think there's a lot of variation in terms of knowledge that they have about their own businesses, contracts, the way things work between, trad authors. You'll speak to some who are very switched on and some who are not and really aren't aware of how things go. And if you think about it, if people are talking and sharing their terms of their contracts and all of that kind of stuff, it's not particularly good news. But I think in general, it's more isolated. Like, we have such a strong community, and trad authors who I speak to, they tend to have maybe like small groups and one or two friends. They might share an agent or they've met somehow, but nothing like what we have as indies, where there's that big getting together to share knowledge.
Yeah. Now, I should just say Vinci Books is different, which is my publishing company. And I'm not just saying this, but genuinely, and this is led from Mark Smith, who's the CEO, who comes from the traditional industry, started Welbeck Books and Quercus and so on. He's so keen on the authors being in a community together, and they get incredible amounts of information. I mean, they can log in. Our authors can log in. Can I say this out loud? I'm going to say it out loud anyway. I'll check
I
afterwards.
could say it because I'm an author and no one's told me not to.
You can log in.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I was really shocked when we got the email. I think it came out from Mark, actually, which said that we could log in and actually see our sales data, which from a trad point of view, that doesn't happen. That never happens.
And your ad spend.
Yeah. And once a quarter, you get a royalty statement that doesn't really break it down very much. You've got no clue what's being spent on anything. It's like, oh, okay, great. See you next quarter. So being able to actually see that, that shows an awareness of how powerful indies are, though. So this hybrid model where you're working with people who've previously been indie authors, a lot of us have TikTok profiles, a lot of us have social media, newsletters, that kind of thing, and we still want to market our books. And having that information gives you a way to see if it's actually working. Because I've spoken to trad published authors before who are struggling with TikTok. And I'm like, but even if you get it to work, you don't have access to the data. So you're not going to know if that's converting. So it's very smart, and it's creating that kind of collaborative feel, which I think is like Vinci are just, different from any publisher that I've ever encountered. Yeah.
So if you're interested, vinci-books.com. Come and submit, join the party, get your login. Talking of trad, we did notice a rather large traditional author started following us on TikTok this week, which is really, we're not going to name them.
Are we not?
But no, well, I don't think so, just in case. They're in negotiations with their agent might not know they follow a self-publishing podcast.
That's true. No, I was looking at our new followers because we've nearly hit 1,000. And I recognised the name, and I was like, why do I recognise that name? Put it into Amazon, and this book came up, which if I said the name of the book, everyone would know it. It was everywhere at the time. And then I went down a bit of a rabbit hole because the author is quite good looking.
Oh, right. Okay, like, now you're stalking. And now he's in your freezer, so he won't be writing any more books.
Playing the long game.
So that was exciting. So TikTok, nearly 1,000 followers. That's good. Something happens. We can use links and stuff, can't we? 1,000.
We can get a link in our bio, which, and
we can stream live, which I think we should actually stream this recording live on TikTok.
If you knew what happened the first time I did a live TikTok. I got hijacked by somebody who managed. There was a lot going on. There was lots of buttons popping up everywhere, and it said someone wants to share your stream. And I thought I'd clicked no and swept it away, and I accidentally clicked yes. And then this elderly woman ended up on my screen, sort of just waving at me. And my sister was texting me going, "Oh my God, what are you doing? Get rid of this woman. What's happening?" And I didn't know how to get rid of it. And it was awful. It was awful. And I ended up having to end the live stream.
Well, I've done lots of lives. I used to do one every week with Sean Bell, former Harrier pilot. He and I used to wax about military jets, which I love doing. We should do that again, actually.
Okay.
But
well, as long as you're in charge, I'll do it. It's fine.
We could stream this. I don't know. I've got to think about that, though, because we release it on the Friday. Is it a kind of giveaway? But then, no, I think that's fine. We can just stream it, and I'll think about it. It would be a nice way to do it.
Thinking about it as we're recording.
I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to suddenly press a button and stream.
Thank God.
There are ways of doing it on here.
Anyway, we've got massively off track. You're going to Vegas,
we have.
The Author Nation conference.
Author Nation.
That's what we're going to be talking about. Is
quite a lot of people listening will be going. It is a big gathering of indie authors. Mm-hmm. So in that same room last year, a conference called 20 Books Vegas took place.
Yep.
Coincidentally, Author Nation's also taking place in that same room this year. And for complex reasons, they're not linked. But there is a tradition of authors gathering in Vegas and that week, and a lot of stuff happens around the corridors and the edges. So lots of dinners take place that you get to meet and, hook up with your hook up. Americans, hook up means different.
Not like that.
Meet up with your friends.
I'm sure that does go on.
Although, but hookups may well take place. And I think what we want to talk about is the value of going and what you get out of it, which conferences are worth it. So we're going to talk about a few of the big ones for next year. So like I say, it's where we are, 6th of November. It's probably time to plan what you're going to do next year. It's a bit late if you suddenly decide you want to go to Vegas. It can be quite expensive flights, I imagine.
There's still tickets available.
There are.
If it's last minute, you suddenly don't have anything to do next week and you've got some Christmas money.
Authornation.live.
Authornation.live.
And come and say hello. Yeah, if you are going to the conference, do come and say hello. If you do the secret Indie Writers Club handshake, which I don't know what that is, but just do something, you'll get a handshake back. Yeah, so come and say hello. And the main thing, there are a lot of streams in Vegas. So at any one time, there's 4 or 5. I've got the app here. There's 4 or 5 things going on. So you kind of have to choose it. Now, I think Joe and Suze, I should give some shout outs to them. They've taken on this conference as a huge organizational effort. They've done brilliantly. They're doing it slightly differently from any unrelated conferences that took place in the past. And Shell Honecker's been doing organizing the speakers. I know I'd be one of those people who's been a bit late on giving her PDFs and stuff. So I want a big thank you to her as well. And I think they've done a good job at separating out the streams, because it is possible to go to conferences, any conference, and look at 2 competing events and think, I want to go to both of them. And if that happens once, that's one thing. It happens every day. It's slightly annoying.
Yeah,
but
I know last year when I went to the 20 Books conference last year in Vegas, I had that issue. There was a lot where I was like, I don't know what to choose, because there's 3 kind of similar things or things that I would be interested on at the same time, and that happened quite a lot. And I think they've done a really good job as well of it looks to me like there's things for people at all different levels, and they've quite carefully planned the timetable, so it looks like, you know, you're not going to have as many of those timetabling clashes where you're wanting to go to lots of things at the same time. And genuinely, I think that the speakers look really good. Like, a lot of the sessions look really interesting.
They do. I've got to go through it properly. Some of these sessions have changed since I went through it last time. I mean, I'm emceeing in the afternoons in the main room. I'm presenting on, when am I presenting? I'm presenting in I'm doing an interview in Platinum on Tuesday afternoon. I'm presenting at 9 o'clock in the event centre, which feels like it's going to be the big room. And I'm basically doing an in-person live version of the podcast that we did a couple of weeks ago. So you were my guinea pigs on here. You get everything first. Podcast. On getting your book in order. But I've enhanced it a little bit, because yesterday afternoon, did I tell you this? I went to Meta yesterday.
You did, yeah. You didn't tell me what for. It was all very cloak and dagger. Yeah.
So it's really interesting to me that we spend more money on Facebook ads, Meta ads, we should call them, than I think any other platform as authors. It's like the main one. And I know this because I do talk to lots of authors. I know some authors are massive into Amazon ads, but I can tell you the vast majority of authors tell me I only spend on Facebook ads. I tried Amazon ads, I couldn't get them to work, because Amazon ads is a complex platform and needs more time and effort than Facebook ads. I'll come back to that. But we spend a lot of money on Facebook ads. My organization has done an online course called Facebook Ads for Authors, of which we have 11,300 students gone through it. And we have taught them all how to use Facebook ads. And yet, despite all of that, I know people at Amazon, from the top to, the kind of the reps. I've got, the head of Amazon Europe in my phone directory, and we partner with them because it makes complete sense for us to partner with them and them to partner with us. So they sponsor our conference, they invite us to events, but they also talk to us about what authors are asking, and we do Q&As, all the rest of it. So they're staying close in touch through our organization with authors. But Meta, I don't know anyone. I've never met anyone from Facebook or Meta. You get the odd phone call from a rep, and that's of variable use, I would say. So randomly, this invite came to go to Meta and go to have some presentations about what's coming down the line on Facebook ads. And it was really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. And a lot of it was to do with pixels, which we don't use so much, but we do if you're direct selling. But there was some what they call beta sandbox stuff, which does look very interesting. A lot of stuff about AI. But crucially, I made a couple of contacts there, people I actually know, I've emailed with now since, who are quite senior there, and we're going to try and get stuff going. So I was at Meta yesterday, and as a result of that, it happily reinforced a lot of the stuff I was talking about. So the big takeaway from there is that the days of precision targeting, which Facebook is famous for, is really drifting off into the past because of iOS privacy, cookie changes, all the rest of it. We can't target and find people in the same way. So AI targeting is taking over. And we know that because if you use the platform, it's desperate for you to use what they call Advantage Plus. It almost hides all the other manual options.
Yeah, it's quite hard to find those manual options now. If you set up an ad from scratch, you kind of go, hang on, where's the bit where I get to choose?
Yeah. And that's because they know you think you're targeting interests and demographics, but they increasingly don't know the interests or the demographics of the people. Or they kind of do, but they can't really connect us directly to that, which is how the AI stuff works. So what they were saying is, and this was the takeaway, creatives is the new targeting. So the big lever you've got to pull is your creatives, your copy, your images, your book cover, your title. They are the things you are focusing on rather than the rest of the ads platform, which we used to spend a lot of time on the targeting and the,
which is kind of good news for us, really, because that's what we do. Like we're creatives. Like we should be good at that stuff. And by the time, as part of your presentation, by the time you get to the Facebook ad, you should kind of have your hooks and your blurb and your cover and everything looking on point and looking lined up. And then if it is, and you don't need to worry about picking out those targets yourself, that's like an ideal scenario.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't get that right. The people who don't listen to this podcast or don't get involved in the wider author community, they publish books in isolation and they don't look at the professional nature of covers. So they create a cover themselves. And so that edge that we have over the people who don't put as much effort in is going to be rewarded more in the future than it was in the past. And the way that's going. So I'm going to be talking about that. That's going to be my presentation. But there's honestly a gazillion presentations going on. It is the big conference. It's in the Horseshoe Casino, used to be called Bally's. It's not the most glamorous of locations. I mean, it's on the Strip. We used to be off the Strip in a place called Sam's Town, which was really unglamorous but quite quaint in its own way. We're now in Horseshoe, but it's ideal to host that number of people. It's large and spacious, which is the same thing. I can tell I'm a writer. And it's cheap, actually. The rooms there are pretty reasonable. And Vegas is one of the most connected cities on the planet. So there's good reasons for having it there. I'm staying across the road in the Cosmopolitan because it feels like my vibe, Cosmo.
Yeah, notice that James doesn't actually stay at the conference hotel.
Well, have you been to the conference hotel, Cara?
I have. I went last year to I did. And you didn't tell me last year that you weren't staying there.
I found you on the floor the first time I saw you. You looked shocked. You said, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah, it's like,
it is,
I think, so a lot of authors are introverts. I consider myself an extrovert, and even I struggled with the sensory overload. So I think if it's your first time and if you're about to jet off this weekend, my top tip would just be make sure you actually schedule in some downtime to go to, because I didn't. I was so excited and I was so just wanted to do all the things, and I didn't want to feel like I was missing out on talking to anyone or any of the talks or anything like that. But I really should have taken on board what a couple of people said to me, which was just make sure you build in some time to go back to your room and just sit down for, in the quiet for a while, because there's a lot of people, lots of conversation, but then also the casinos themselves and just walking through the casinos to get to the conference venue is a lot. It's light and sound and everything. And we're not really, especially, I live in a village in the middle of nowhere. I'm not used to that level of sensory stuff going on in my brain. So just make sure you have those downtime moments so that you can really fully enjoy all the rest of it would be my top tip.
Yeah, and try and do something fun. It's easy to go to Vegas and just walk through the casinos, and that's the closest you get to Vegas. But actually, Vegas's shows, which is they're great. There are some fantastic shows there. Cirque du Soleil stuff is brilliant.
Yeah, we saw Cirque du Soleil last year. It was really amazing.
I mean, my favourite show is the Beatles show at the Mirage, but that has now gone, which is a shame. It was running for about 20 years. It's absolutely brilliant. There's the Sphere, which you can go and just watch the Sphere itself being put on, which is this incredible display. You won't miss it when you get to Vegas, all over the building. And dinner. I mean, if you're into whatever food you're into, whether it's steak is probably their most famous thing, but sushi is big in Vegas. I'm sure vegan and vegetarianism are huge there as well, just because there's so many restaurants. And so perhaps treat yourself. I know it can be expensive, but you can find good stuff quite reasonable in Vegas at all levels. So perhaps choose one night to have a nice meal with some friends. And if you don't have friends, join our Discord server and say, hey, who's going to Vegas? You'll find some. And one show, I would say. And that just gets you out of otherwise you are, as you say, on this one track space.
Yeah, and it's quite intense. And it's, it is like 4 days of being inside most of the time. So if you like, I didn't do enough of this last year. I really didn't. And when I go next year, I'm going to try and go a few days early, see some nature.
Yes.
Then go to the conference.
We can do something in the desert. It's great. It's beautiful. The desert's beautiful around there. Okay. All right. So that is Vegas, big conference. Probably the single biggest gathering of writers in the world, and you can be a part of it. And you can go to authournation.live to find out more details. But obviously, it's about to take place this year. Literally, people will be flying out today, as in Friday, if you listen to this, and Saturday and Sunday, and coming back the following weekend. So it might be 2025 that we're looking at.
Do they have digital tickets this year? Do they have digital ones?
Pass. Don't know. Someone else asked me that. Can we watch the streams of AuthorNation?
I'm just having a look on their website.
Yeah, me as well.
But even if you can't, if you're thinking about going next year, it's a good time to kind of keep an eye on the Facebook group, keep an eye on what people are saying about it, so you can start planning for next year. Because I know it feels like ages away, but as soon as this one's over, they'll be starting to release details of the next one. There's like a group discount rate on the rooms, all of that kind of stuff. So it's a good time to have a look at what's going on and think about whether you want to attend next year. And I know a lot of people say that Vegas is where they met their tribe. That's where they met their people who became their really good friends. Because if you've not had a chance really, well, all of the conferences actually that we're going to talk about, if you've not had a chance to network or to meet up with people and to make those friends in your genre, in different genres, then the conferences are really the best place that you can do that, the best opportunity that you've got to meet people in person.
Definitely. Okay, let's move on to another conference. So this is a new one for me, and might be the first time it's done. I'm not sure, but it's in Ireland.
I think it's the first one, yeah.
It's the first one in Ireland in March. And we're both going to be speaking there, actually. And I've been conversing with Paddy Finn today, who's going to be speaking there as well. It's organised by Siobhan Purcell. It's going to be in beautiful sort of Atlantic coast, the rugged Atlantic side of Ireland, very green and feeling quite remote from the rest of the British Isles. Well, got to be careful what you say with Ireland. The British are not British, but the British Isles, I think, is a geographic description of the island of Ireland and UK, I think. But I will definitely call it Ireland. You can take I think that's right. But I do respect the fact it's not part of Britain. Obviously. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And actually, we're thinking of taking the dogs and getting the ferry and, try and spend a bit of time. There's a golf course I noticed. If you look at the satellite view of the venue, there's a golf course next to it.
I think we were also sort of half talking about maybe trying to do a live version of this podcast, weren't we? Yeah. Because we're not sure. We're doing something together on stage. And then I don't know I'm also doing a talk on smut. And I don't know if you're also doing something separate as well.
Do you want me to talk on smut?
No. You can guest on that'll be my first ever live smut talk. So I'm excited about that.
Here it is. And the web address, if you want to look up this and you want to come and say hello and join us, and if we do a live recording, you could be a part of it. If you go to irelandspublishingshow.com, irelandspublishingshow.com, 18th to the 20th of March on the Wild Atlantic Way.
Yeah, and they've got an early bird price on the tickets until the end of November, I think. So if you're thinking if you want to get in on the early bird ticket price, that's there until the end of November. But that's going to be a relatively small one. And I've heard people say that the smaller ones are often have a really nice feel about them, really relaxed. You've obviously got more intimate conversations because there's fewer people there. And obviously, if you're this side, if you're UK based and America is just too too much of a budget thing and time wise as well. This is only 2 days and it's super close. And I think it's right after St. Patrick's Day. So that's going to be super fun.
Yes, I'm going to be hungover in Ireland when the 17th is St. Patrick's Day.
I'm going to get there a few days early and enjoy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just having a look at the speaker list. So you've got Tony Lee is talking there. Steve Higgs will be there. Maria McHale, Celeste Barkley will be there. Jonathan Brazier, actually I don't know, Jonathan Brazier, US Marine Colonel, retired. So I will get to know him. Gerald Kilby, Tammy Lebrecq, very good speaker. Ooh. Sarah Nofke, I mean, Sarah's probably the most prolific writer I've ever met in my life. She writes more than you do. So yeah, really good speaker lineup. It's going to be really good fun. And I have not spent as much time in Ireland as I should have done. Typically, being a Brit, I've been to Dublin a couple of times, last time to see Taylor. But I'm craving getting out of Dublin into the countryside because it is the most gorgeous part of the world. And so looking forward to that. So and that's going to be, if you're in the UK and Europe, that's reasonable. Ryanair, obviously they're an Irish-based airline, so wherever you are in Europe, you'll probably get to Dublin pretty cheaply. And then I don't know how you get out to the wild Atlantic way, hire a car or
we haven't
hitch a lift with somebody.
Quite thought that far ahead logistics-wise.
No, I have to. I think there won't be any space because the dog's in our car. Well, I'll probably get you in the back somewhere. I'll pick you up.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's a good one. A good starter conference, a smaller one. Now the next one we're going to talk about. So there's a couple that take place, and I mean the romance ones are kind of drifted away because of the collapse of the Romance Writers Association, Romance Writers of America, was it RWA? So that big one, which was moved around but was in New York quite a bit, has gone. Thriller Fest is in New York. It's a very traditional conference. I did go there. It was good for me running the old podcast because I'd pick up really good guests. So we interviewed Lee Child there and James Rollins and Dave Morrell, who wrote Rambo and stuff like that. Met them all there. But wasn't massive, I think, for indie authors. So the next big one I would say for indie authors is in Florida in September, and it's NINC, which is Novelists Inc. But this one is a little bit higher level and it has an entry requirement.
Yes, I think you have to have a certain earnings level, don't you?
$5,000 a year. I think it's $5,000 a year revenue. It doesn't have to be profit.
Two different books, I think.
Okay.
I think it's on 2 books. Yeah. And I think you have to apply to join NINC by March. But check these details on their website. I think it's by March in order to have your membership approved in time to buy the ticket for September.
Okay, here's the criteria. So you've published at least 2 novels, each of which is at least 50,000 words long, and neither of which is a box set or collection of shorts. So basically 2 normal novels. If one or both novels are traditionally published, you've earned at least $3,000 on each title. If one or both novels are self-published, you've earned at least $3,000 on each title in any consecutive 12-month period following publication. Oh, I see. So the traditional one is from an advance or royalties.
Right.
But if you're self-published, if you made $3,000 at least on one or both, so one of them might have done that in 12-month period, then you qualify.
Okay, which isn't, that's not a huge amount of money, but it's just enough to kind of make it that next level of people who have got some level of success and are doing it because they want it to be a career, presumably.
Yes, and that's the point of the organisers, to say when they set up a session, they don't have to say this is how you create your KDP account, which you will get at Author Nation. There'll be some sessions you could choose to go to tell you what Vellum is and how Vellum works.
Yeah.
Whereas when Brad and Brad go to NINC, if they host a session, it's like stuff you don't know about Vellum in the background. So assumes a bit of knowledge here and there. So that's an example of how that works. But I also say about that conference, it's the most fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely, NINC is on my list for next year. I wanted to go this year. I didn't make it, but next year it's on the list.
I mean, it's on the beach. I love the beach there. It's full of wildlife. I go for a run on the beach in the morning. Everyone goes for a walk up and down the beach in the morning. And it's like a David Attenborough documentary. He's a wildlife narrator in the UK, if you don't know who he is.
Who doesn't know who David Attenborough is? Get out.
Well, people in America might not, I don't know.
No.
So NINC, I think, is good. And that's where I've met lifelong friends. And, there's a sort of culture in the evening of walking down the beach to Krabby Bill's restaurant or the Toasted Monkey on the other side and eating a reasonable amount of fried food, I would say. and cold American beers. And so what's not to love about all of that? And then during the day, there's a nice central area. So in between sessions, everybody's in the central area with a cup of coffee or cold water or whatever. And then you go off into the rooms. It all becomes quiet in the central area. You listen for an hour to someone like Tammy Lebrecq or whoever talking. And then you come back out and you exchange notes and you meet people. And it's a nice place to meet people there. So I'm a strong, supporter of it being a good thing for your mental health as well. I think it soothes that and gives you a bit of breathing space in a busy year. So I've really missed it this year, and I'm definitely going to go next year. I've already put it in my calendar for next year.
Question: if I go next year, will you please introduce me to Lucy Score so I can be her friend?
I'm afraid I can't do that.
Why?
No.
Are you embarrassed?
Of course I can. No, I'm not. Lucy, and I'm only saying that because when I said, can you
Lucy.
Can you give me 10 minutes to record the podcast? You said no. So on WhatsApp.
Yeah, James was running late. So can I have 10 minutes? I was like, no.
Oh my God, Lucy would love to meet you, and she's just the most fabulous person to meet. So yes,
you heard it all. You heard James promise, everybody. You heard.
And you might even get a bear hug from Tim if you're lucky. He does the best bear hugs in the world. I mean, I had my last one from him was in August, and it's going to be a long time for the next one.
You're getting withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah, honestly, it keeps me going. So that is Novelist Inc. And then the one we missed, actually, should have mentioned, there's one we missed in the middle of summer, isn't there?
Quite one important one that comes between Ireland and Ninc, which is, James?
Which is the Self-Publishing Show live.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is the live event of that I organise with Catherine. She organises, and I put my name to it.
Yes, which Catherine does everything for.
Which Catherine does everything for, yes. Yeah, exactly. That's how it works. And that takes place in London South Bank, and it's the biggest gathering of authors in Europe. And I have got a outline plan of what's going to happen next year, but we have not pressed the button on it yet just because we've been very busy, a lot of things to consider. It's a big commitment. But we have set up a waitlist page, and I'm considering an option. I might do this in the next couple of weeks where people can put a deposit down to guarantee a place. And if they don't want to come, they get the money back. So it's 100% refundable. But it gives us that kind of feeling, okay, we've got enough people now if you've put £50 down or whatever the deposit is, you're probably going to go. And that gives us a sort of warm feeling that we can press the button and commit ourselves to £75,000 initial deposit on the room, because it's really expensive organising these conferences. So you can see why we're a little bit hesitant about it. But I want to do things differently last year. So it was about, I can't remember how much, £220 with VAT last year. Over 2 days, you've got to have a hotel. We know times are hard at the moment. So people had a hotel plus that cost plus food. It added up to £1,000 odd to go to the conference. So this year, we're going to do the main conference with most people, like a 1,000-seater room, over 1 day. So that'll happen on 1 day. So that means you could get the train in the morning and the train back in the evening, and it makes it a lot cheaper. Yeah. And we're going to try and cap the price at £99. That's the aim. So it'll be £99. We'll get as many people in there as possible. It'll be great for our sponsors to have a lot of people there. So we'll try and make up the money that way. And it'll be great for us to have a full auditorium and a full lobby. But in addition to that, probably the day before, the day afterwards, we will do a deeper dive day with more intense sessions. And this will be a bit like Ninc. It'll be self-selecting. We're not going to have a criteria, but it'll be 250 quid, something like that you'll pay, and you'll get access to a deeper dive session with some experts in certain areas. So we'll have Facebook ads for sure, I'm sure, Amazon ads. We're thinking, I've got this idea of doing a live version of the old book lab we used to do, where you can bring your book in and have the cover critiqued by a cover artist. You can have the first couple of pages critiqued by an editor. And so you can go away with some valuable takeaways for that. So we're putting that together at the moment.
I am happy to critique everyone's smut, just putting that out there.
Yes, including mine.
Including yours.
So that will be the Self-Publishing Show. And if you want to sign up, not that deposit thing, I haven't done that yet. That will be in a few weeks. But if you just want to add your name to the wait list so we can email you and say, these are the plans, we're about to unveil them, so you'll be first to hear. If you go to learnselfpublishing.com/SPS live, that will take you to the waitlist page. And
you think that one will be June time again?
Yes, I think it's very likely to be June. That's the kind of slot we've chosen. People start to build their their plans around it. And
that is the slot where there seems to be crazy hot weather every year.
Yeah, we've not had bad weather.
No, every single year it's been even like this year's one was miserable in the run up to it. And then those days of the conference hit and we had a heat wave again. And it was like everyone's standing around outside the South.
I know, because it's the second week of Wimbledon, I think, traditionally, that conference. And the first week of Wimbledon was almost rained off, wasn't it? And the second week was like sunshine. But that's because the gods smile on us. So that's it. I mean, I will talk about Vegas next week. We're going to record an episode
from Vegas. Well, you're going to be in Vegas. I'm going to be here.
Yeah, we should be able to record in Vegas. I mean, there'll be Wi-Fi in the hotel. They have Wi-Fi in Vegas.
Sure. If not, it's just going to be me waffling for an hour without you.
Yeah. What are you going to talk about?
I don't know. Smut.
Keep going on about smut. You're obsessed.
I know. It's like I write it or something.
It is your living, though, to be fair to you.
It is.
And there's only so many ways you can say the same thing. So I am intrigued by how. I mean, although I think it's like writing fight scenes, and in my case, writing aviation scenes. You know, in aviation, you can advance the throttles and feel the roar of the engine. You can say that once, but next time he flies, you've got to find another way of saying that. I know,
and it does get exhausting. It is very tiring to keep trying to find new ways to say the same thing. Yeah.
Is there a smut thesaurus?
There is actually. I got a smut dictionary a little while ago. I can't remember who wrote it. It might be Cara Brighton. I think that's the name of the author. But yeah, I won't talk about smut if I end up here on my own. I'll find something else to talk about, I promise.
Okay. You won't be on your own. I'm going to be on my balcony at the Cosmopolitan, the Cosmo. Okay. We are going to talk about the word count. We're going to finish off with that. We're not going to read out all the detail because there's a lot going on because we're in Nano at the moment.
Yeah, we've got so many people in there that it's just getting a little bit unwieldy. So I think we're just going to read the names, aren't we? And then if you want to see people's word counts and check in with them, head over to the Discord channel.
So this is first to the third that Kitty has compiled for us. I'll do 5 and then you can do 5. So Siobhan, PT, Catherine M. Walker, James B. 007. That's me.
Is that you?
How cool is it? I got James B. 007 as my handle on Discord. I did. Of course I chose it.
Of course you did.
You know, secret agent, aren't I? I'm not so secret now. K.A. Dempsey, Hannah Bainbridge are the first 5 we're going to mention. Their targets, their achievements are all on the Discord channel, so do go and cheer them on.
Yeah, we've got Tara L. Newby author, Susie Fleming, Lynn in Spain, Jackie Elliott, and Vicky Smith. I never know whether to say Vicky or Rachel. Well,
she writes as Rachel Morton, but she is Vicky Smith. But you can say Vicky, either. If you shout Rachel at her, I don't know if she'll turn around, but she will turn around if you shout Vicky, which I have done occasionally.
All right, Vicky Smith.
Do you know, I've always read that as Lynn in a spin, but it's not. It's Lynn in Spain.
Yeah.
I thought it was Lynn in a spin.
No, I thought you were being funny.
No.
No, just reading wrong.
Have you done your 5?
I don't know, maybe. And musing. I think that was my last one.
Yeah. J.A. Mortimer, Katie Holder, Christine Sheridan, Kath M.G.
Davez, is that how you pronounce that? Davez, Dia, Phil, Deborah Coolish, and Maura. I always pronounce your name wrong. I'm so sorry, and I've lost the bit where it says how to pronounce it. I think so. Yeah.
Something like that. Simon Farrant, J.H. Jones, Kitty Retro, Miroslav Kuchera, and Louise Murchie. Well done for posting some good figures this week.
A.S. Camps, D. Glenn Casey, Tommy Tree, Susie Fleming, Christine, and J. Penname. I like that we ended on that one. J. Penname. I'm not on that list, but I did do some writing, I promise.
Yeah. I mean, there are some big figures. I'll just pull out a couple. So Christine wrote 16,964 words in the last week. Susie Fleming, 12,600. Tommy Tree, 9,200. Some decent words in there.
The Nano ones, the people who are doing Nano all seem to be going strong. There's a lot of 2,000 somethings, a lot of 3,000 somethings. And the total word count, which is always fun, total word count, including the Nano words for this week, is 177,425, which is a lot of words.
A lot of words. It's like the introduction to an epic fantasy. Yes, well done. And like I said at the beginning, I think it's For me, it works. I don't know if some of you just sit down and can write, and some of us need this sort of thing. But I'm now looking forward. I'm writing tonight after I've got my calls done in a minute, and I'm looking forward to it. It's been the first time I've looked forward to writing in months, and that's because I'm writing. So that's how that happens.
You're looking forward to writing because you're writing.
Because I've started writing, it becomes something you get going, get some momentum, and you look forward to it. So yeah. Me and Susie are on a bit of a journey in my book. So the two of us are, and I'm starting to. I just invented in the middle of a scene, this new character who I instantly loved, absolutely loved. This old Frenchman, an old politics professor Frenchman who's spotted in the library that Susie's looking up this unusual family name, a family name he recognises. So he sort of looks over her shoulder and shocks her a bit because she's working undercover. But he's got the twinkle in his eye, a little magic in his eye. He's going to become a kind of Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think, to her.
Oh, I like that. I love it when that happens, when a character just kind of drops in, fully formed, and you can see them and you're like, oh my God, I love this person. And then they end up probably getting a spin-off at some point. I can already feel like he needs a novella of his own.
I think he's going to be there for a while. And it's funny because if you analyse my book, and so if I chatted it through with somebody, a development editor, they would probably say everyone in your book is a 20 to 30 something young agent in MI6 or MI5 or an RAF pilot and other character. It's nice to have that kind of older, hackneyed, cynical person in that area, but that wasn't why I came up with him. I came up with him because in that situation it felt like the right thing to say. Suddenly fell out the sky, but he is, I think, the right character to have added to the book, and I'm very excited about him being a part of it. So they're now about to knock on the door, which is going to be very interesting. That's why I'm keen to get writing in a minute.
Okay, well, don't let me keep you.
I've got another bloody call, haven't I? Because I have calls all the time.
Okay, well, I'm going to eat some dinner, so
I want to do that as well. Okay, look, thank you very much indeed thank you, Cara. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Keep going on Nano, and I will see you
next week,
God willing, on the balcony in Vegas.
Yeah.
Well,
see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Sign up for episode alerts at indiewritersclub.com. Come and chat with us at our exclusive Discord server at indiewritersclub.com/Discord. Or join our Facebook group at indiewritersclub.com/Facebook. And you can support the podcast at indiewritersclub.com/support. And don't forget to share your weekly word counts, because no matter what you've achieved this week, we're here to cheer you on. Thank you for being part of the Indie Writers Club.
The Indie Writers Club was brought to you by Publish Drive. With one click, self-publish your ebooks, audiobooks and print books to thousands of stores and libraries worldwide. And now you can start for free forever. Publish Drive's new free plan lets you publish your first ebook absolutely free. No subscription fees, no commissions, keep 100% of the royalties. Get your titles online in just a few minutes at publishdrive.com.